Hello. Sorry for my voice breaking, guys. Just that it's very early in the morning here, and I wasn't using my voice. I was quiet the first 3 hours of the day. I have to do a train or warm my vocal cords. I have to warm them out before I start the live. I believe I read for him in Aquarius season, maybe. But yeah, I can do an update for him. I always forget. I always have him on my mind. I mean, I read for him in other, dynamics, romantic, romance, and everything. But probably, it's been a while since I read for him, professionally and individually. I'm going to. But just because it's him, and I know that you have requested before, and I was like, I have to do that reading. But then, the other readings, this is a Q&A today, so there's personal questions to me, and then I do have some, but always please, like, if you have recommendations, please leave it in the community post. I try to create a post for these live streams, either it's for Wednesdays or Sundays. I try to create a post a few days before so you guys can leave the recommendations in there, because sometimes people leave it in the comments of videos or sometimes on TikToks, and I do appreciate it because it helps me. But sometimes when it's in the comment of a video or on a live stream, if I don't go back to that video, I forget that that the recommendation was in there. It's like I have a feeling that I read it somewhere, but I don't know where it gets lost. But when it comes to community posts, for me, it's easier to go through the comments and pick them. Of course, in community posts, I'm also selective about what I pick. I don't pick just, I pick accordingly to what I think that is a good opportunity for us to, to see. If it's good for the artist, if it's a good time for the artist, if it's a serious question, that also, because, like I said in the community post that I created, I don't have a bias for any artist in particular, especially when it comes to reading tarot. I'm very neutral, and I'm very honest. I see what I see. I cannot sugarcoat. It's like you can like or not the way I deliver the message, but the message is what is in the cards. Hey, Draculaura. So sometimes people have an issue with that, because it happens to people in real life as well. Sometimes they do, consultations with me, 3 months, like every 3 months, asking about, something in particular. Maybe it's romance, maybe it's work. And sometimes it's not good news. And sometimes, the cards are also, the cards also have a sort of rhythm that, and I noticed this when I read for K-pop idols as well. It's not that I don't like the person. It's just that maybe the cards is like, there's not much to say here. And I cannot, make up something in the air, and make it look pleasant when actually there's not much going on. Sometimes, either the person is very private and they're not showing it, like, or there's not much, to energetically, maybe there's not much. And if my message repeats itself, is because maybe the person has something, specific to work about, about what I see. But I think that it also depends on the mentality of fandoms, because I had been, I had been chatting not only with my community, because I always grow thanks to the feedbacks, but I also had been I had been, talking and having conversations with my friends that they know me, that they also are fans of certain groups. And I was like, give me a feedback. If of all the readings that you've seen that I did for this artist, have you ever seen me being, specifically being like disrespectful or just not being nice? And she was like, not at all, not at all. So, um, but she was like, also giving me this feedback that sometimes, there's certain fans, that they get very sensitive about their artist. So, if you read something positive for one of them, and if and the other one, oh, the reading is not that long. I had people like this about other members, but they weren't that, that insistent. They were much more like, oh, I wish you had read, more often. I think that you read for this member and not the other member. Why is it? Why is it? But when you want to imply that why, that it seems like I have something against, like, that's so disrespectful. Especially considering that I have been doing this for a very long time. I'm always consistent with my readings. I show up every time someone wants a reading, an update for something important for their artist. I'm always here. I always try to be fair and read for everyone, for all the groups. And I had been consistent. I also, I read the cards and then I go and, and live my life, because I have responsibilities. I have a job, I have family, I have friends. So, it's not that I'm sitting here purposely thinking like, oh my God, how can I be, more like, detach from this reading as I can. No, I just read what the cards say, and then I move on with my life. But I think that it's very disrespectful that they see me, or they see all the work that I have been doing. And when they don't like something, it's like the attack is very personal. It's like, oh, it seems like you have a problem. Like, no, I don't have a problem. No, I don't have a problem. If I had a problem, first of all, I don't know these people. How can I have a problem with a person that I don't know? But this is my first time having a tarot deck, and delivering a message. This is actually very natural for me. Maybe it's the way I speak in English, that there's people that sometimes they get bothered by my accent or the way I pronounce certain things or the way my mannerisms. Maybe they think that, oh my God, you are being disrespectful. I had people in my comment sections like that they were like, oh, it seems like you were very awful towards this person, and you did it on purpose. And it's like, no, no. No, how can I do that? If I did that, then I wouldn't be fit for the job, for this role. I would say I wouldn't be able to do this if I had that. It's just that, I'm a person, so I see what I see, and I don't have favoritisms. And I noticed, because I seen that this is also done to other tarot readers. In another comment sections, I had seen it. Everyone is so happy when they get the reading that they want. But then, when the person is trying to be like, oh, it seems like, this person is not going through the best of the moments, then there's someone that is like, oh, every time you read for my bias, there's always negativity, or you always get this negative vibe. You never read for him, you never read well for him. For all the others you read well, and for him, his message. And he's like, what do you want us to do? It's not about us being like, oh my, let's look at the awful cards that they got. No, but it's human nature. The idols are not 100% satisfied sometimes with their lives, with their matters. and they face challenges just like we do. In the cards, the tarot, it's very cutthroat. So if you're not ready to listen to a tarot reading, maybe you shouldn't watch, videos. You just or maybe read cards yourself and do the reading yourself and see if you got differently, and congratulations if you do. um, but for me, since I've been doing this for a lot of years, and for real people, I feel offended. I'm like, okay, so I guess, I have to practice more. Um, and I love idols. I love all. This is why I do this. Talking about, the Q&As. That, thank you guys for the people that submitted personal questions for me and about reading tarot and my experience. I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't like K-pop. That's the reality. And actually, I started this channel because of BTS. Because initially, when I got into K-pop, I only knew BTS. So I think that it's so it's disrespectful. Especially when someone on the internet tries to somehow like fix the puzzles of like what they think that you are. And in there, I'm like, I don't like that. Because it's not like that. It's not like that. Um, but oh well. And then they wonder why the tarot readers of K-pop or about K-pop, why they close their channels, or why they disappear, or why they no longer want to work with K-pop idols or reading for K-pop idols. It's because of the fans. It's because of the fans. It's because they cannot take a reading and be like, oh, well, I agree, I disagree, I move on. No, they have to, they have to get fixated, they have to get personal about you, and that's not okay. That's not okay. Mm. Hey, Bacano. Yes. Mm-hmm. K-pop should be something that unites everyone, not something that separates communities. Yeah, and I think that that probably, I think that the fans have to reflect, because sometimes I do read for people or idols that it feels energetically that they don't want me to read for them, and I respect that, and I always tell people, look, this is what I'm getting. I have to stop because there's not much going on. The idol doesn't want me to go that far. And the fans, they never complain. They are never, actually, they resonate with the feedback. They are like, oh yeah, that's something that I think that my bias would do. But then there's others that they get like as if you're reading for them. And no, I'm reading for whatever is available. um so yeah, I don't do it on purpose. I don't do it on purpose. Actually, I love to give good news, but also, I notice about, you know, the ability to receive, the feedback. And I think that this is very surprising because actually, um, um, I noticed that in my community, there's a lot of mature people. I had done readings where, I'm a bit harsh, not harsh, but I think that the message or the cards somehow invite me to be very, straightforward, or to be very serious about, what I'm going to say, because probably, that idol is being affected by, other people's actions, and it seems like it's not going to stop. So there has to be a message towards those people to, I don't think that they watch my readings, but it's like, those people should back off a bit from him or her. It's not so much like, oh, the idol is doing something in their lives that is preventing them from being happy. No, is usually sometimes is either the fandom or the staff or the company, but those external influences sometimes they ruin it for them. And I think that it's necessary, to mention them, um, because sometimes the cards are like, I'm going to call these people out. I'm going to call them out. And I think that this is something that I started to pick more, not so long ago. I think that I started like, expressing this in my readings like 2 years ago, because I seen it, but I didn't know, since, I don't know idols, and I usually read for regular people. Sometimes, for me to see, what is this that I'm feeling? What is this sensation that is not a single person, but it's like a group of persons, a group of people, but they are not here. I cannot see them, but I can feel them. I can feel the weight of their pressure, of their presence. It seems like they are like cornering the person, and they don't show in the readings, but I do feel it. When you reading for an idol bias, and you feel that this person isn't anymore what they used to be, like negative energy, or taking bad, do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? So far, Bacano, I haven't gotten that. um that change, that they are not the same, and probably if I do feel like a negative or something that is like, I don't like this, probably I will stop reading, for even if it's my bias, probably I will stop for a while, because I don't know. um I don't know. I think that, there's certain moments in a person's life that, especially because I do tarot readings, and I know that people, when they are, in distress, or when they are not feeling very well about themselves, they they want a tarot reading. And sometimes when I get, that vibe, or that energy, from them, um I'm always like, you know, I will do the reading, but I will try to give it like a shape, so we don't focus on, what is missing, the insatisfaction. Like, I want to see, like, I want to help them, make a progress, I would say, or advance. Um, so, and if I notice that they are not advancing, I'm like, maybe tarot is not for you. Maybe you need, someone to talk to. I do, counseling consultations as well. But I think that sometimes when the tarot gets very dark or gets very pessimist, it's because there's something in there that the person is not facing, and it's going to appear and reappear in your faces. It's going to appear to me, because the person is not facing it. So sometimes tarot is not, because tarot is really going deep. This is why, I was worried when I first started with, um reading tarot for K-pop idols. I was a bit, worried about that, about the aspect of, yeah, the parasocial of K-pop, the superficiality of K-pop, of the system, not the person, the system, the system, their training, what they can say, what they cannot say, what they can show, what they cannot show, and also the fan solutions as well. So I was a bit like, how do I read for these people? If at the first time that I say that, oh, I think that this that you guys see is not what I see here, because the tarot somehow it removes it takes away you know what is false, what is like a mask. It removes the mask. So I was like, how do I do this for celebrities if their job is basically to wear a mask? How do I do this? But yeah, I was able to create a community of people that they understand that this is a possibility, that I could you know um get mixed feelings about something or someone. Mm, I'm curious about these idols that got exposed for like crimes. Yeah, well, that's what one of the things that I must say personally. When I read for Tail, when I read for him in Gemini season, after that whole situation, was exposed, I didn't get cards of like there was something that was going to fall apart. Actually, no, I actually got very positive cards for him. I think that this is why I'm like, could it be? Because I should go back to the reading. I should go back to the reading because for me it felt like there was nothing wrong going on for the future of his. But so this is why I'm like, I wonder if this that he went through, or these things that he did, if he actually, if for him this was like, this is what he wanted, or maybe the result, like being out of the group, or was the least of his problems. Maybe the guy wanted out. Maybe he was sabotaging his own career, his own life. I don't know. But I didn't get any cards of like, oh my God, I'm worried about something coming up. Like, I'm so worried. I'm so like self-conscious. I'm a bit paranoid. No, no. He was so looking forward to what was coming for him. So I wonder if he knew what it was, how things were going to develop. And he wanted this to happen to himself, which is crazy, I know, but that's the only thing that comes to me. I could just say, yeah, I got it wrong. I don't want to say I got it wrong because I think that all the readings, even the ones that resonate and the ones that don't, they all have a purpose. So I wonder what was going on back then when I read for him, but at the same time, if it was about his future, he was happy, he was satisfied. There was something about him. I'm going to get what I want. So it's a bit twisted if we think about what he got. Um, but one thing that I must say about him um, is that when I read, there was a series that we created on a live stream that it was called. It wasn't how do they flirt. It was something like how do they flirt, or how do they talk to girls, if they approach the girls, how do they talk to girls, the first encounters. And I did it for NCT 127. And I remember that while I was reading that, I almost forgot about Tail because he was in hiatus, he wasn't present, because he had that thing with his leg. And so I almost forgot about it. I was like, oh, if someone in the chat wouldn't mention him, I would totally dismiss him from the list. So that also energetically has like a meaning. Like when I forget about the person's name, it's not that I'm saying like the person is for like, that, oh, it's meaningless, this is why they don't matter, this is why I forget. No, there must be a reason. Maybe they don't want to be seen, they don't want to be read, they don't want to be included. This is why their name vanishes from my head or my memory, because I'm a citizen myself. But when I read for him in that context, I remember I got cards, and I said it in the reading, that he wouldn't approach women. Like, there was something in there very odd. Like, I don't know how I said it back then, but I was like, oh, maybe he is, he's a bit awkward socially. There was something going on in the way he would act around, the opposite sex. So in there, I do remember I picked something of his. I was like, he, and I think that I did mention something like, as a somehow, as trying to find an example. I was like, well, maybe, you know someone close to him had a scandal about, approaching a woman, and this is why he knows about this, so he tries. This is why he doesn't actively, go and talk to someone. But, there's also very curious, considering, that sometimes the quiet people or the awkward people, they have other ways, they have other, especially men, so yeah, you should go and watch that, because that was intense. Yes, I got a very awkward vibe. I tried to, just give like a very general view of what I was seeing, but I got that he was different from the other guys in that sense. Yeah. Mm, yeah. That's so interesting and creepy at the same time. Yeah, maybe for Taylor is what he is, and he don't have shame for his actions. Exactly. He doesn't have remorse. Maybe it's how he is. Yes, because I swear I have to. When you go back to the Gemini season, Gemini Idols of 2024, and you go and watch this, it seemed like he was planning the thing. I don't know. I think that he wanted out. Honestly, he was sabotaging his career. You know that he had the accident, and I don't know about enlistment yet, because I think that there's a sentence out for him, which is very confusing. But yeah, probably the lower the time, how they are in there. But yeah, he is guilty. They always give them few years. It's a joke, the years that they give them, and I don't know how he's going to do with enlistment. Mm. Ajá, claro. Yes. I'm getting the creeps through the screen. I'm going to start with the first question. That these are some questions are for me and my experience with tarot, and then I'm going to do some tarot readings, but these are going to be for later. So yes, pray to the internet gods that that my connection doesn't cut. Mm. Yeah, I don't think that they knew, because it's not it's not just that he's secretive. It's just that there's no awareness. There's no, you know, I I wonder if even there was like an emotional connection between them, like somehow feeling like he was different. Like, I think that what they would know is that he would be different. Like, maybe them being like, oh, because he's always like this, he's always quiet, or he's always like this. But I think that probably the one that would suspect of it would be the women. But he was very, meticulous. This is why, when I got in this card, in this series, how do they flirt? There was something about him not showing interest, like him acting like, oh no, I don't do that. But those are the worst, actually, because they lure you in with that, like, oh, I don't do those things. Yeah, I don't. When actually, they're criminals. But I swear I didn't see it. I swear. In the cars, back then, I didn't see it. Okay, the first question for me is, when did you know or decide that you wanted to work with tarot oracles for real? For me, I guess it was during pandemic, because we were stuck at home, and at the end of 2019, I already had, I had like, I had decorated a room in my house, and it was like a little, the first little office that we, created with my dad. It had the furnitures, it had everything, was so pretty, so new. And then pandemic happened, and I couldn't meet people. I couldn't invite people to my house to have, the consultations, to have the clients. So, but the room was so pretty. It was so nice. Um, and that's when, the pandemic happened. I had until September, October of 2020 that I wasn't going, to work. But the situation was tense, because we were still employees of the company until the company decided to leave the country, and they left us all, unemployed. But until September, I had, I knew what my work was, my workplace. But while I was at home, stuck at home, because, as you know, guys, I have lupus, so my immune system it would be very much like, affected if I would go and just, go back to work in a public place, in my condition. Like, the country decided that those of the people that had, their immune system, very low, we wouldn't have to go back to work. So in 2020, I used that, because we were in lockdown, so I would use that sort of initial office, and I would have, the tarot in there. I would also start to, do more online classes for tarot, even though I didn't need them, because I knew, how to read tarot. It's just that I always done it by myself. I had like classes when I was younger. I had teachers like in person and everything, but it was a while, actually, and I just would collect, the tarot. Um, Tarots, I would own the most, not so much oracles. And so then, by, doing these classes, online, and just, talking to people, and because of pandemic and everything. So people, because they were also stuck at home, they would contact me. They would be like, even my family or friends, they would be like, oh, can you read for me? Can you read for me? And I seen that my other colleagues were doing like these pick cards, online, or people that I admire online or on social media would do it. So I was like, I will do my part as well. So I would very oddly create, bigger cards reading on Instagram. And that's when I started to lose a bit the fear of, being in front of the camera. even though I didn't speak in the videos, I would just shuffle and, show you free cards and you would choose. Um, but it was like the beginning. And then, when I got into K-pop, I got into BTS, and then I had, army friends, and I was like, guys, I know a bit. I was talking a bit about astrology of what I know. I'm not an astrologer, like a professional, but I also had, astrology classes. I know a bit of everything. So, and also I always been, very intuitive, I would say. I would just, it's not about accuracy or be like, oh, I got this right or I said this. It's just that I even, I guess I'm connected to something, to the universe or to whatever. um and it had always been like, you know um something that I had in me, but I wouldn't share it with others because I would be like, maybe people don't like it, maybe people don't believe in this. So it had to come from other people being like, we would be very interesting if you would read, for these idols. And this is how I started the channel. And I started it in English, which, if you ask me why I choose English, I don't know, because I'm not really good at English. Like, I mean, I know English a bit, but just like this, very conversational, I would say. There's certain technicisms or certain grammar or, way of pronunciation that I don't know. I think that when it comes to pronunciation, probably if there's something that I pronounce right, it must be because I listen to others pronounce it like this, and maybe I integrated in me. But I don't consider myself like, oh, no, because, I used to work with English speaking people, or I have this connection with these people, foreigners. No, no, no. I had a very broken basic English, but I wanted to do it in English because I wanted to reach a lot of people. I didn't want, honestly, like, I didn't want people from my country or my surroundings to be find a video. And this is not about, being afraid of like, oh, what if someone recognizes me? No, I think that there's something about, first of all, I didn't know any K-pop supporter in my country. I mean, I knew about them, but they were also, just like a lot of K-pop fans are. They're very young, and I'm not. I'm 40. Um, so I was like, but then when I met my army friends, online, we were all, like, 30 and plus, and then there were 20 somethings as well, teenagers as well. But I discovered, a sort of community where you can like K-pop and being, a mother, and I don't know, a professional in something, and like K-pop. It's not just for teenagers, so I also, um I got into that experience of expanding my mind. I mean, like, there's people like me that actually they like K-pop, and they like idols, and they are funny about it, and it's not that deep. And then you have people that get offended for the smallest things, yes. Um, but thanks to them, I decided to do this. And because I had the place, I had the tools, I had it, and I had the time. I think that 2020 was like this opening of what it was already. I already had this. It's just that I was very selective about who do I read for, and it's like, okay, you can ask me, but um, don't let others know that I read for you. And I think that it was, in that selectiveness, I guess, or being very, um, you know reluctant to share with others. I think that in there I was losing the possibility to reach to people, and that was the key, that I had to expand, that I had to reach out to people about what I love, that is tarot. It's just that maybe, because of everyday's obligations and because of other responsibilities that I had, tarot wasn't part of that. Tarot was something that, yeah, it was mine, or it was something that reflected a part of myself, but I wouldn't let it be seen. I wouldn't share it with others. But yeah. And thank you to everyone that submitted the questions for me. Then there's another question for me that it says, which is the most memorable reading for someone that actually came true? I don't know if this person meant like in person, like or in the channel. In person, I did have, moments where people would be like, this happened and this and this. But I usually just like, maybe because I'm a bit awkward with, I'm a bit awkward about receiving compliments. So I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's great. Yeah, but that happened because you worked really hard, and this outcome was available because you did the work, and actually, maybe it was because I was being accurate with what I read and what I seen back then, I'm very awkward about compliments. Yes, I am. I'm learning, I have been learning to take it and being like, yeah, I done great. But when it comes to in the channel, I think that for me, the one I remember the most, that I don't know, for me, because we used to have these live streams, and I'm sure Fluffy knows, she's not here. But we had that live stream where I was reading for Jenny, and I got this King of Swords. And in that very memorable moment for me was like, when I asked the people that we were just chatting, and I was like, who is this person? Who is this? I was like, because it's like now, that I have 9 people here. We used to be very few people, like very few people will watch my live streams. It was a small channel, but we would always gather, like either on weekends, or usually it was Sunday or Saturdays and Fridays. And I would be, talking with them, as if I was reading, but I was also like, being curious and inviting also the audience, the people that work in the chat, like, who do you think that this is? This is interesting. Who is this man here? Who is this King of Swords? I think that, and then, a few days later, the video of her and Taeyeon came out. And if you go back and watch that reading for her that I did for her, it's not just about me mentioning the King of Swords. It's more about what I said before, because I continue the reading and I continue saying a lot of things, like even I said something about maybe this person, has a lot of fans, and the fans are because he is like someone's favorite, and they are going to be angry at her. A lot of defensiveness, of course, from Jenny about this. But I don't want to say like I described Taeyeon, because for me, the King of Swords, I wouldn't associate it with his energy or how I used to see him. Um, I didn't say like, oh, it's him. No, but I was like, who is this man? And I think that that was the first time during a live stream that I did this, I saw this, but I was sharing the experience with the community. I was like reading, and I also was opening the reading so you guys can experience this that I'm seeing now. That I don't know why, but I feel like this skin of source is important. So, and then everything exploded a few days later, but that one was like, yeah, mind blowing for me. Yeah, this is why sometimes I think that, I took also that experience as an example that, you know because for me back then, because it used to be like, we are a small community, so it's more like I'm doing a tarot reading with friends. I'm reading the cards, but you guys are by my side. So sometimes it's like it's not just me. It's like we are all in here. And I think that this is the good thing about the live streams, that this is why I started doing the live stream first, because I didn't have time to upload the readings, the videos for the channel. So I was like, I'm going to do a live stream. And then, because people would complain very often about my videos. They would be like, oh, why don't you show that you're pulling the cards, or why don't you show while you're shuffling the cards? Where did you get those cards? Like why don't you show yourself like pulling the cards? And of course I cannot do this because I don't have I don't have the camera, I don't have the time to edit. I cannot do this, and I'm also very clumsy about recording and everything. um and I didn't have the time, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do a live stream so you guys can see me, that I'm reading, that and how I'm reading, and you can see the cards, that I'm not making anything up. um but that one it was interesting. And I think that those things sort of mold my way of maybe loosening up a bit while reading tarot for idols. Because like I said, reading for celebrities is really tough, because you don't know what you're going to get. And there's certain people that they don't want to hear it, and even for a tarot reader, sometimes you are like, like, I don't this is tough, but I have to say it because I'm here and it's my responsibility. But I was like, I allowed myself to loosen up a bit about, okay, yeah, I see someone. Yeah, is this person like this? Or yeah, I think that they are seeing someone. Maybe it's not that serious, but there's someone here, and I'm like, okay, like, I'm saying it. And thank God, I must say, thank God, like, the reception is really good from the fans. This is why I'm so proud of the community that I have built, because they, I do have fans from a lot of idols, and actors and actresses, and I do notice that the ones that are very mature and very realistic, they never are like, oh, why are you saying, if they are single, if they are married to me, or if they're they're like, oh, well, thank you, I love the reading, and that's it. So I think that I was able to somehow maybe build a community with very respectful people, that even if they don't agree, they just they move on. They are like, well, I did what you're reading, it didn't resonate, but whatever, I will move on, I will go watch another channel, or I will stay in the shadows, I don't know. But I think that considering the the subject of my channel, people have been very respectful. There's not much like controversy in the comment sections, like what are you saying, like. And I know people can be controversial about their biases. I know there's people that claim things that you're like, oh my god, what is this? um but there's certain things that I think that some fans should just keep to themselves. Don't write it in the comments. we know we know you love them. Don't write it in the comment, just keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. um and then the last question for me is, if there are tarot oracles decks that I don't like. If there's tarot or oracle decks that I don't like. Initially, when I started like reading, for people, and when I started using the many tarot decks that I had, that I owned, um, I didn't have many oracles. Um, I'm not a fan of oracles, honestly. But it's because I seen people do like a sort of misuse of the oracles. Because actually tarot, you do have to study. Yeah, you can be very clairvoyant and everything, but the tarot is a system, and you do have to not memorize. I don't want people to get like, oh, for tarot you have to memorize the meanings. No, because I know them, but I don't memorize them. If I want to change them, I change them in the sense that I think that it resonates with me in the reading in the moment. So it's not like, oh, you have to study and learn. No, because it lacks authenticity. It sort of block it. Like the tarot is a tool, you know. Um, and for me, the oracle, the thing that I had with the oracle is the keywords. For example, this is a tarot, that I always use. This has keywords. It has keywords. Oh, it has keywords. But I like the keywords in this tarot. I like the keywords. So I think that, yeah, there's certain oracles that I don't possess much, but I think that I'm very picky about oracles. I had bought some that I thought that the keywords were ridiculous, so I don't use them anymore. Or I'm seeing a picture and I'm like, this is not the keyword that is written here. It doesn't resonate with me. And I think that, sometimes a keyword, a phrase, it can open up maybe if you're like, I need an advice, I'm going to get an oracle. I do have a Spanish oracle that is just say one word and that's it. Sometimes I do use them, but I use it, I bought it personally because I did resonate with the creator, the person that created this oracle deck. She had a very specific vibe, and I did like the keywords. They were very well thought, well created. They weren't like the typical like, oh, love, expansion, freedom. They were like deeper and complex. But I think that I've seen certain people say that they read tarot, and the only thing that they do is they pull oracles. They pull the oracles, and it's all keywords. It's all the table is all keywords and images. And yeah, I think that you can do, if you are talented and if the audience likes it, is your tool. Is your tool. It's just that I think that if you're a tarot reader, or if you call yourself a tarot reader, you have to read the tarot. You have to read it. You read it to the people. Read it. Um, there's a lot of like, oh, if I pull two cards, two tarot cards, and then everything else is oracle, you're not reading tarot. You're not reading tarot. Tarot is very complex. Tarot, it takes, a lot of years um, for you to be able to read and associate the cards. It's all about observation. And like I said, about being present, you have to be present with your tarot deck. This is why every time, I read for idols and I do the live streams and I do this with you guys, I prepare myself for this. This is not about me, just sitting a regular Sunday and drinking my mate and just being informal about it. No, because once I pull the cards, for me, it's like, it's work time. I'm working, I'm doing something purposely here. So I'm sort of devoting my energy, my time, my presence in here, to do this. For me, it's serious. This is why sometimes about interruptions, bad internet, bad connection, bad weather, like I don't like the background, I don't like the place, I think that I need a bigger place, or I think that I need more plants, or I think that I need a better lighting. It's not about me being dissatisfied with what I own, because I'm always someone that I think that I learned through the years and also the pandemic and everything, is that you have to use what you have. Work with what you have. You have enough. We have enough. We are a society that somehow is like being pushed to consumism, to always buy more decks, buy more of this, buy more of this. And because we are craving something and we don't know what it is, we keep consuming, we keep buying things that then we put them away in a drawer, or we put them aside, and we forget about them, and then we complain that we don't have enough. So, and this happened to me with tarot. I used to own a lot of tarot decks, and I would, they would be hiding, inside furniture, inside like my library, and I wouldn't put them to use. So that says a lot about my personal, moment back then. Like, what do you have the tools? Why aren't you using them? So this is my advice for you guys. If you want to start reading tarot, oracles, just buy one. Buy one and start. Don't think that, of course, now if you have the possibility to buy a tarot that you're like, oh, I like this because this is pretty and it's pink and I love pink, and or it is gold and I love gold, and this resonates with my style, do it. Buy it, and use it. Learn with it. Give yourself time. Get connected with the tarot deck. You have no idea how many tarot decks I bought because I thought that they looked amazing, but I never connected with them. And they are beautiful. They are beautiful. They are just put away in a box, but they're beautiful. They are beautiful. They are aesthetic. They are amazing. They are so colorful. I never use them. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. Actually, if you watch different videos of mine, you always see that I'm using a rider white. Always. Is this one or the vintage one? Or there's a pink one that I have, but it's always like the rider white system. And this, that is like the Tarot Oracle, is my favorite so far. And I must, I'm very, embarrassed to say this, but this is not an original, because in Argentina I couldn't find the original tarot deck, the original version of this. So I do apologize. This is, a copy, but it works. This is why sometimes this is another myth. That, that I don't want to, promote that you should always buy original. But because, my situation was like this, I wanted this and I couldn't get it in my country. I got this. Okay. and it works perfectly. It's not original. It's a piece of carton. It's a piece of paper. It's not magical nor anything. But it works. It works. So yes. Hey, Dania. What is the difference about oracle and tarot reading? Oracle feels too easy. I think that for me, I love oracles because to sum up a reading or to finish the reading, like an advice or like, the keyword is important. Sometimes, a simple card with a keyword can, summarize everything that I have been talking about for like 20 minutes. But the keyword also allows us, allow us to connect with what is important. Maybe there's a keyword, there's a message, there's something that you need to pay attention about that reading. This is why sometimes to finish the reading, an oracle is amazing. But I have an issue actually with the I have an issue with the people that create oracles very easily, especially the romantic ones. In Argentina, I had someone that came up to me that they wanted me to, they wanted to give me an oracle that they created. It was for romance. It had all these phrases like pictures of a magazine. Another thing I don't like about certain tarot is when they have pictures of real people. When they have pictures of real people, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. When they have like models and their faces and like I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know why. Because for me it's like, the rider system, the Marseille system, the colors, the distribution of colors, where it's painted and where it's not, the faces of the pages and things, it all has a meaning. So if you put like real people in the deck, for me it's distracting. I feel it like I cannot connect personally. Maybe for others it's easy. And this person wanted me to have it and promote it, and I was like, I don't read with those kind of oracles, and I think that was in a romantic oracle that, yeah, it had like 60 cards in it, and they were all pictures. It was also very sexual, very like, the keywords were so like telenovela like, like, oh, I long for you in the distance, I watch you from afar, I spy you. There was someone that it was like the sense of time, that it was like what that person would have said to you if they had the opportunity, or an ex, to do like an ex tarot reading. And I found it so distasteful. I found it so tacky that I was like, no, thank you. Don't send it to me, because I don't use those kind of tools. I only read tarot. Thank you. I have plenty of oracles. I don't do those kinds of readings. So thank you. It was so toxic. It was so toxic. It was for like, if you, and I know there are toxic clients. Like, I don't want to say like the client is toxic, but sometimes, there's certain people that they are caught up in an unfinished business with someone of their past that they loved very much, or their situationships. Sometimes love and relationships these days are not easy. So people sometimes are left without answers about what happened, why it didn't work. So, sometimes, a tarot reading can expand a bit, like, okay, what is going on? But for me to pull these oracle cards, I mean, like, oh, he misses you. He doesn't want you to know, but he misses you and he's going to contact you soon. Like, why? Like, no. Especially because I do have, counseling clients that they went through a lot of they spend a lot of time in the process of getting over someone, especially from a very toxic and, not so healthy, not so positive, relationship. They were so traumatized by these people. So I think that when you read for someone that only causes you pain, and you give them that room, and you give them the spotlight, and you want to read about them, and if they're seeing other people, and if they're cheating on you, and if, like, I think that you are somehow, getting far away from the source, that is like, you should ask about yourself, about you, what is going on with you, that you're still attached to this kind of people situation, because they're not going to change. They're not going to change. Whether you want me to pull the cards and tell you that they miss you, but the reality is, what are you going to do with that information? Just to torture yourself. I don't like to give false hopes to people. And sometimes, people think that, that tarot readings is like, give me my fantasy. And I don't know, I'm a Capricorn. I understand, I can give you, I have readings for the Lulus as well. You can be a fan, and I'm a fan as well. I got a compatibility reading between me and my bias a long time ago. So I get it, but your bias is not harming you. It's not, harming you like that. But when we talk about the real relationship, someone that has caused a lot of damage to your life, is, if you keep asking about that, mm, what? Yes. What are the different ways to shuffle and pick? Um, there's a lot of ways. The one that I don't like, I seen it a lot on the foreigner side of the readers, especially people from America and all those parts of the world, maybe Europe a bit, maybe more American. I don't like it when they shuffle like they are in a casino. I don't like it when they do the cards like this, when they are like this, when they do like this. When I cannot do it, but when they do this, I don't like it. I think that you're damaging the cards. The tarot decks are very expensive. They are easy to, especially like these ones that are glossy. If with time, the points, if it's not really well made, the points will start to detach. So they will start to get a bit, um, you try to shuffle, and they will get entangled with another card. For me, it's better like this. I don't like it when they do like a casino. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think that we are not, card dealers. We are tarot readers. And then I seen also in Korean shows that usually the tarot readers in there, they do like this, and they from a table like a casino again, and they're like, okay, pick a card. In that, I'm like, that can work. That is not bad, but for me, I mean, I remember, I don't know who it was. I had a client once that she didn't know how to shuffle. I would, back then I was trying to find, my way to, because I had them in present, in person in front of me. So they would be really nervous. And so, initially there was a teacher, they were like, give them the cards so they can, shuffle, and then the cards are what they choose. So I would hand them the deck, and I have people that they are like, how do I don't know how to shuffle. I don't know how to do this. And they will get really nervous. They will be like, am I doing this correctly? Am I like, and the whole deck would get imprinted with their nervousness. So this is why, I usually would do this. Because I don't know how to do that, the casinos display. So I would just do this, and I would be like, okay, you pick from here. And it's better because I also don't like people touching my tarot deck, but that I learned, having different teachers, because the one that I had initially, she would give you the deck. It was very old school teaching. But yeah, for me, I don't. I mean, this is just a piece of paper or cardboard. I don't know. But for me, I'm very respectful to the tarot deck, so I don't force it. I don't, even though I shuffle very fast. I don't. It, and also, I seen it also a lot on the pandemic. People been, having shuffling so, like, in a very harsh way, so cards would jump out and they would see, like, oh, there's a sign, that the card jump out, and this is a sign. This is what the spirit the spirit wants you to know. Oh, I don't know, guys. I'm very old school. When I started reading cards, the tarot, there was no spirit talking to anyone. So I don't know. It was just me pulling the cards. So I don't know if maybe I'm missing the magic, or I'm not into that energetic, experience. So I don't know what it means that the spirit tells you that that the card is special, or this is the card, or this is the message, or asking the cards, okay, give me more. It's like, no, I don't know. Maybe, it works for people, but for me, it's like, like, I don't know. When a card go reverse and the person just flip it and say the meaning of the card, feels so wrong to me. I mean, I think that for me, I don't read reversals. And sometimes, it happened. The other day, it happened to me that I pulled cards and I realized I was holding the deck upside down. So this is why when I started pulling, I started noticing that the cards were, and so I flip it, because it's not that it came out like this and it's like, oh, it's like also for me, I think, I don't know, for me, at least in my experience, it's like there's something that tells me, like, leave it like this. If you got in a reversal, leave it like this. I can read reversals and I can read normal. I prefer normal because you don't need a reversal to see that something is blocked, or something that is not working. The cards will tell you themselves. But you have to. This is the thing. I think that people. What I notice about certain readers or certain ways of reading is that people don't want to stop and observe the spread that they have in front of them. It seems like it's easier to keep pulling cards, and it's easier to get into this sort of a strong energy of, like, let's see, like, like as if you are in a casino, as if you are in this very toxic environment, or in this entertaining environment where let's see, like, this is not a fair, this is not a carnival. You are reading cards. Slow down, stop, and observe the cards, the readings, like the spread. I mean, observe. Learn to look beyond. I think that people don't observe. They want the instant gratification, I guess, the instant response, and this is why sometimes, I also prefer to record the readings and give it to the person instead of, having like a Zoom meeting with a client, because sometimes they have so much to say, or they want to tell me something, or they have their own perceptions. And even though that also works for me, because I learn about the people, but it's like, are you here for me to read you the cards, or are you here to talk to me? I mean, like, let's divide the two experiences. Like, I can listen to you, before I read the cards. You go ahead and you tell me, okay, I have this issue. I want to ask the cards because I have this problem, and like this and this. But don't give me that much information. You don't need to tell me everything. But there's just people that maybe they want someone to talk to, and this is the reality, because I've also been a client, also went to therapy, and sometimes when we get comfortable and when we have someone that is inviting us to open up and talk about how we really feel about something, we open up. And thank God we have these facilitators, or we have these people that they make you feel comfortable and you open up. But sometimes, for a tarot reading, I need silence. I need you to let me, don't interrupt me. Just let me read. This is why sometimes when I'm reading, I don't read the chat, because I have done that in the past and I get interrupted because I'm reading about what you're saying or what you're talking about, and it interrupts what, I should be looking here, not here. Not here. This is why I don't do TikTok lives. When you start tarot, does your energy change in life as well, or you are more spiritually connected? No, no. I don't think my energy changed. I think that my energy gets connected when I do this, when I do the live stream. But before I do all this, the setting, all the preparation, I'm just a woman. I'm just Vanessa. I wake up, I have breakfast, I have to do laundry, I have to clean my house, or I have to go to work just like everyone. And I have my issues, and I have my, my problems, my period, like something is hurting, I have, I don't feel like being a tarot reader is like, oh, I live my life differently. No, but I think that once I'm here, this is why for me it's so necessary to have the place, the time, the room, and the audience. I would say the right audience, the right people watching this, because I think that it's because of the community that I was able to build all of this. And with this, I don't mean it like, materially. I mean it like the atmosphere. I mean the possibility, the time to talk about what I want to say, or say what I want to say, and just, rant for hours if I want to, and then, get serious and read for what really matters for you guys. I think that this, for me, is, I don't know how you say it in English. Could it be like habitational? Like, it's like when I'm here in this space in the now, is when I think that I'm connected energetically. Is here when I can develop, this part of me. But I do it because I also, have a feedback from you guys. So I think that literally it fits my energy field, it seems. This is why I don't allow, negativity, nor drama. Like, I understand that, K-pop is very chaotic, and if you go very, and if you observe certain things about the K-pop industry very closely, you're going to get disappointed, you're going to get your heart broken, you're going to get depressed because there's a lot of bad news, there's something going on. So I think that sometimes, I also, stop, certain people, from commenting, or I stop certain energies. I'm like, I understand you're worried for your idol or your group. I understand. I'm going to read the tarot and I'm going to tell you what I see. But don't carry that anxiety with you, because it doesn't have to surpass you. It doesn't have to affect you like that. So please take care. Take care. How did you know tarot was for you? I always wanted a tarot deck. I think that the first time I seen a person owning one was when I was like 15, 14, 15. 15, 14. We were going to, here in my country, there's like this sort of, medicine women or shamans. My mom is from, was from a very rural province, and they believed in those things. And because, I had lupus and all my problems with health, they would take me to these places, to see if I would find a cure. And I remember this woman had a tarot deck. And I was like, is that a tarot? Because I knew what it was, maybe because I seen it on TV, but it was my first time seeing it like in person. Um, and I remember the person was like, yes, like, and I was like, I wanted to, to touch it, like, and I think that she handed it to me. And I was like, I want to learn, I want to. And she, this woman, she said something that, that I was very young to, or I don't know if I wanted a reading. I think that I was like trying to convince her, instead of, doing this sort of cleansing on me, and the herbs and all the incense. I don't know what it was in there. I don't remember exactly. I remember the room was very dark. um and I was like, I want to use it, I want to. And she was like, not now, you are very young, you are not supposed to, get in. I think that there was something, I don't know if this also was old school, or maybe if it was something that it was, a belief of hers. But she was like, because I was very young, or maybe I was like underage, that I wasn't supposed to get my cards read, or I wasn't supposed to be near a tarot deck. And that's what she said. But then, I remember when I still was underage, and I would buy, this mystic. I don't know if it was like mystic or esoteric. There was a magazine there was a magazine that it had astrology and a lot of subjects in it, and it had like the meanings of the major arcanas, and I would collect those, and I would, I would, and because we had magazines, I would cut all the, the different major arcanas, and I would put them on a book, and I would be very diligent about this. I think that I would create like a sort of collage of the different cards and their meanings. I was very creative back then, with just like a notebook, and just, and I would, create it. I've always been very, like, I will self teach myself, I guess, in the meanwhile, that I wasn't having like a proper teacher. Um, but yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much for the questions. But yeah, I'm going to start with the readings, because I have some people. So yes. Thank you so much for the questions. It was fun to answer them all. Yes. Okay, I'm going to read for Lisa and Frederick Arnault. You know, I have a reading of them on my channel, but you know, maybe they wanted an update to see how they're doing. Then they also gave me the choice of choosing Lisa and Kentaro, and I must say, because I seen it also on TikTok, and you know, I don't judge you guys questions. You know, you ask what you ask, and I'm sure that some people are like, you know, curious about this actor and her because they work together. But I don't know. Have you seen the reading that I did about him and his scandal and these women in his life? And this is what you want for Lisa? Like, I'm sorry, but I think that sometimes I'm like, what are you guys like? What is, you know, like what? There's certain um I, I mean, there's the guy's life is so complicated at the moment. Do you want to add Lisa to the mix? Are you a fan of hers? Like, my God, my God. I'm not judging, but I'm judging. Okay, Lisa and Frederick. Lisa, Frederick, and the connection. Are they still together? There's It feels like a war field, you know. If from Lisa's part we have the 5 of Cups and we have the 4 of Wands. From Frederick's part we have the King of Swords and we have the Sun. He always is so optimistic. I don't know why I feel like every time I see from Lisa's perspective, you know, there's this, you know, very sad and a bit disappointed kind of feeling. And from his part, he's always like the shining armor, I guess, you know, like this king, you know, confident, just very rational, like, oh, we'll be okay. We will be okay. You know, things will be okay. I will handle things, you know. Maybe he's someone that yeah, literally he has everything under control, but I think that he also has like pair of pink glasses of him, because I don't know what is going on with Lisa, but there's always a sense that she's not 100% satisfied. Then we have the tower, and we have the 9 of Wands, resilience. So challenging times for this duo. Challenging times for this duo, for these two. I mean, I think that, yeah, from Lisa's part, the 5 of Cups, but then the 4 of Wands. I mean, it's also contradictory because I think that there's a sadness in her. There's there's something about her just feeling very sad or feeling just like very disappointed in something in the relationship or with him, maybe. But at the same time, we have the four of wands. So it's like we will go out or we will be seen or we will go and celebrate and we will go to events or we will be spending time together, going to the beach, just being outside and celebrating and everything is happy and haha. But inside of her, there's like this very sad feeling about, I don't know if she feels disappointed in him or if they had a sort of disagreement. There's like this very like, sad vibe, of like, oh, I wish things were different, but yeah, let's go. Um, could it be that she wants, because also the nine, the four of wands, could it be a marriage proposal? The nine of wands is giving me celebration, is giving me like an engagement. Could it be that she's expecting an engagement and she's somehow disappointed in this? That maybe the ring isn't coming yet? Or maybe she did receive the proposition, but she's not sure. She's a very complex person. Like I think that her emotional world is like a constant battlefield. Like I'm happy, but I'm unhappy. Like I don't want this, but I want this with you. So I don't even want to say like there's duality, because this is not about duality. I think that this is about happiness. I think that there's a part of her that she's really like regretting something, or she maybe is like, this is not the life that I wanted, but I will go and live it anyways because I have to celebrate, or I have to show up, or I have to go out and show the world that I'm having the best time of my life with you, even though maybe I'm feeling lonely, or I'm feeling like you don't understand me. There was a loss. She lost something in this connection with him. I don't know. I don't think that it's like disappointment, but it feels like, an opportunity passed and she didn't take it. And there's something about her, cheating herself up and be like, well, the show must go on. And I don't know. I think that there's like a lot of misunderstandings in this connection, especially coming from her. Maybe the signals are not clear. She's a bit confusing. Like at least I see it here, and I'm like, are you sad? Are you happy? What is it? What is it? But she's not satisfied. There's something about her like, oh, I wanted this, but you didn't give me this, so I'm sad. But at the same time, I will show up and smile and show people that I'm happy or that we are happy. So yeah, from his part, the King of Swords and the Sun card, he feels like they will overcome anything. I think that from his perspective, there's something about him, maybe having his ideas very clear. I think that he's also a very intelligent man. There's something about him, putting logic in everything and just being able to. I think that his interest or his love for her is very stable. It's very obvious, or it's very, the King of Swords is very honest. Is very like, yeah, I want you, and you are the one that I want, and this is the relationship that I want, and I will wait, or I will stay here and I will be watching you. And also the Sun card, there's something about him, it's like he's not also afraid to express his love for her on the public, or maybe, go out with her or be seen with her. I think that he's so, he's so connected with his authenticity about how he feels about her. He feels very lucky, also very energized, when he is with her. he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't have a doubt. It's just that, maybe she's not satisfied in her life at the moment, or there's something that is bothering her emotionally, that she's like, I'm not happy, and she could be a bit moody, but smiling to the camera. So it feels very contradictory. Like, I'm like, what do you want? I'm like, but yeah, he's not bothered by that. He's like, yeah, well, it is what it is. He's very patient with her. Yeah, the tower and resilience, the 9 of Wands. I think that, yeah, there could be some changes, or there could be a breakup, or there could be, something falling apart, or the disagreement. But then the 9 of Wands with resilience is like, we will survive this. We are tired, we are exhausted, and maybe sustaining this connection, it feels like maybe one of the parties is not satisfied, but at the same time, I think that something has to change. Something has to change. Something has to be like interrupted, somehow like destroyed and being rebuilt again. Because with the 9 of Wands is giving me like things are really harsh for this connection, and they shouldn't be like this, because if this is like a love connection, it doesn't feel, it doesn't have to feel this, heavy and conflictive, and like, oh, we will survive this, but why, go into the extremes, it's like, why, you know I think that probably from her part, maybe there's like something personal of hers, that she's going through something, that she thinks that she lost something, an opportunity or something, and maybe this sort of reflects in his relationship with her, with him, because I think that for him, he's like, well, I'm present, I'm doing what I can, I'm supporting you, I'm showing up, I don't know what else you want me to do. But at the same time, with the 9 of Wands, it feels like they will continue pushing it, even if things are over. Maybe there's one of them that is like, I still have faith in this connection, so I will keep advancing, even if you want to break up. So, so I don't know. Hey, Hope. Okay, I'm going to read for Boynextdoor Sungho. Sungho, I guess is, or Sungho. No, the readings are already set for today. Setayesh are already set for today. And about 2026, I'm still not starting the series of 2026 for the group, so you will have to wait a bit longer. I still, probably in November, I'm going to start the 2026 for the groups. Not now. We are still a few months in here, so yeah. Wait a bit. Okay, Boynextdoor Sungho or Sungho. I don't know how it's pronounced. Sungho is my first time reading for him. I believe he is a Virgo. Boynextdoor Sungho. Let's see. Is he having a collaboration with someone? Yeah, wait a bit. Wait for me a bit. that on November I'm going to start the series. I'm going to create a community post, and in there, once I create it, you can all leave your request. But yeah, I know Piece of Life, I'm going to wait for them. They're going to be included. But yeah, wait, guys, this is still very early. Wait a bit. I know that we are almost about to enter Libra season, but wait a bit, please. I'm feeling overwhelmed that the year is ending. My God. Okay. For this member, for Boynextdoor Sungho, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Okay, 5 of Cups for him, Ace of Pentacles, 2 of Cups in the middle, 8 of Pentacles, and 10 of Wands. And we have the Devil. It says restriction. So he definitely, this is why I'm asking, is he having a collaboration with someone very soon? Because, with the 2 of Cups in the middle, it's giving me that he, there's something about him and others. Maybe he feels stronger, he feels happier, he feels, much more safer when he is working with others. So I think that in what is left of this year, collaborations are very important. But also, we come from the 5 of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. So there's something about this guy, this man, also like going through maybe moments where he has to overcome this sadness, I would say, or disappointment that he has. Maybe he's someone that he also has a lot of regrets. And the 2 of Cups in the middle is like, I somehow need the validation of others, or I need you guys to let me know if I'm doing a good job. For him, feedback, connection, to connect with the fans or to connect with the members. There's something about him needing, I wonder if he has like a Libra moon or something like this, because connections for him are very important. He needs to see himself in the eyes of the others. I would say he's a bit codependent. I would say there's something about him, maybe he waits for the others to, to give him a feedback, or he's just very anxious about like, okay, what do you think? What do you think of what I'm doing? But he went through something, maybe at the beginning of the year, him feeling not satisfied with his career, maybe, or him not being able to see the possibilities, him feeling a bit sad. How is the group doing? How is Boynextdoor doing? Because it gives me like maybe initially when the year started, there's a bit of sadness, there's a bit of a missed opportunity, like I missed this opportunity, or I wasn't given this opportunity, and somehow I had to work through this and come into terms with this and somehow forgive myself or forgive others. I think that he judges himself very, very harshly. Not judge, but there's something about him probably, being very much, affected by results. Maybe he wanted to do more this year, or he wanted to collaborate with others, or he wanted to be seen more, or he wanted to, come into a reconciliation with someone. I think that he was able to somehow get a good feedback about his career that somehow got him away from this sadness, I would say, because he tends to look at what he had done and being very observant of like, I could have done that better. He gets a bit sad from time to time. This is why the two of cups is very important in here. So if you're fans of him, show him a lot of love and support, and let him know that he's special or that he's loved, because I think that he's always looking out, for like, what do you guys think of me, or what do you guys feel about this? I think that for him is important. For him is important. And in the near future we have the eight of the Pentacles and the Ten of Wands. So is Boy Next Door having a comeback? Is Boy Next Door having a comeback? Because I see him working on something, or maybe it's an individual project of his, or an individual appearance, or something like this. See him working very hard on the details. But then we have the Ten of Wands. So what is going on with this group? Because through him, I can see that there's a lot of work, there's a lot of a lot of effort put in here. But he's really tired, and he probably is going to end the year feeling very pressured. This is not about exhaustion or being overworked, but there's something about him not feeling good enough, or maybe, going from moments of being inactive to having a lot to do. And he's someone that he needs a proper preparation. Maybe he's a Virgo man. He needs time to arrange his mind about what he's going to do next. He needs like, don't rush him to do things. Also with the Devil, restriction, there's a sense of not a lot of freedom about him. Like, I think that he's like, I want to do my best, but then I feel restricted about my options. So this is why I'm like, what is going on with Boynextdoor? Are they okay as a group? I don't see something in particular, but I think that he really showing me here that, happiness, or like, a good result, it comes with a lot of effort, and it usually feels like a huge burden to him, at least. It feels like he feels restricted. He feels pressured to maybe do really well, but then, also there's like this insatisfaction. I don't think I done enough. So I wonder if these guys are being pressured to do amazing, but then, they don't get the recognition that they deserve. Because I see him doing the work. I see him, but at the end, with the Ten of Wands, it feels like this is like a never-ending responsibility or task that it feels very heavy to carry, a huge responsibility they have on their shoulders. And with restraint, with the devil, the devil card, I think that there's a sense of like, I cannot do what I want to do. I had to ask for permission, or I have to ask for. This is why we also have the Two of Cups in the middle. He's always waiting for someone to give him the heads up, for him to be like, okay, I can do this because you said that it's okay, so I can do this. So it feels like, if I said that maybe he's a bit codependent, is because there's something about the environment that he's in that it feels very restrictive. It feels like, at least in 2025, it feels everything very like obligated. I don't know if there's like a contract, or if there's like certain guidelines that it feels very strict, but it feels like, he cannot be himself, like, and it doesn't matter what he does, it's never good enough. So I wonder what is going on with their management. Okay. Okay, I'm going to continue with how does BTS feel about their next comeback album? Comeback/album. Messages or the themes in it, what it's going to be about. How does BTS feel about their next comeback album? Comeback/album. How do they feel? Four cards. I get attached. Very passionate. They feel very passionate about this. And it's very interesting because the last time I read for their dynamic as a group, I also got a lot of ones. So in here, I can also see the ones. They probably are working on it. Knight of Wands. We have the Lovers. We have the Five of Wands. And we have the High Priestess. And then we have the Empress that it says receive. I mean, they're very passionate about it. I can see certain members like already putting all their creativity in this. There's a lot of there's something like a need for hurry. They probably want to hurry. But the Lovers and the Five of Wands is like I said when I read for, I believe it when I read for JK, I said this year is not the year, guys. So stop it with the revolutions. It feels like they are like all, hungry inside. They really want to push it now, or they want to release it now. But the Lovers and also the Five of Wands, there could be also like there's not an agreement. There's some people that are like, okay, I'm in, and there's some people that are like, oh, I don't know, we will see because I have to do this and then I have to go here, and there's disagreements. Honestly, I feel like that is because they. I don't think that the disagreements are, because of their characters. I think that, when it comes to this new album or creation or comeback is so important for them. They are so passionate about this. There's no doubt, that they are going to put all that energy of theirs. But there's also differences in opinions. Maybe one wants to do this and the other one wants to do this and the other one doesn't want to do this. So I think that, there's a lot of like very passionate exchange of opinions. It's like, no, I don't like this, or yes, I do like this, or no, I will not do this again, or like, I think that it's normal because, these are, grown-ups. These are, they are, different people. So disagreements in a creation process are normal because all of them have a saying. So there's people that are like, yeah, we want to do this, and then there's others that they're like, I don't know if I want to do that again. I don't think that is my style anymore. And I think that there's a group of very passionate members, and then you have the ones that, especially with the Lovers here, and the High Priestess, then you have the ones that are a bit like, I don't know if I want to do this like this, so they will have to, navigate this and somehow overcome these, different views about, what creation is. But they're very respectful about this. But they're at the end, the High Priestess again. The High Priestess always advising them. Like I always tell you, the High Priestess always appear for some of the members. That the High Priestess is like, hush, don't overshare. Hush, it's still in the making. Don't give spoilers, don't promise things to people, just remain, remain anonymous, or remain, when people ask you about this, change concepts. It's just that there's a lot of passionate members. There's some people that they are so passionate about this that maybe they cannot help it and they will say something that probably there could be a bit of disagreements at some point. Maybe this is also the audience fighting or the fans fighting, or maybe media talking about this, but it seems like it's better to not say anything. It's better to not say anything. Yeah, yeah. It's very interesting that you have members that they're like, I want to get to creation now, and I want to do this now. That they are in a rush, like it has to be now. And then there's others that they're like, no. There are others that they're like, no, not now. I'm resting. Let me rest. Or let me think about it, somehow, like, kind of like interrupting the flow of energy of the others. There's someone that is coming with a lot of force. It's like, guys, I have an idea, this is going to be, and then there's others that they're like, well, we'll see. And this is why there's disagreements, because there's like this high, inspired energy, some of them. And then there's the other ones that they're like, yeah, we'll see. It's true. Let me rest. But yeah, we have the Empress that it says receive. The Empress is like, this adored figure, and this is why we have the card of receive, that I think that they're going to have a wonderful reception. The Empress is success, is growth, is expansion, so they're going to do amazing, of course. And I think that people are just excited to have something of them, so there's this feeling of them just feeling also very comfortable in this time in their career, in this new, this new upcoming, creation of theirs, album, comeback, I don't know, concerts. I think that they would just have to open up to the idea of receive the love, receive the compliments. You done great. Like, I think that honestly, like, there's someone that asked me about, the style of the theme, maybe with the Empress, there's a bit of, something romantic, or something that is very smooth, is very sensual. I think there is a mix, because I have certain members that is giving me like, is like this strong rap, or this strong, lyric, also tough choreography. And then you have the others that are like the most like Venusian or sensitive and spiritual ones, that they're like, we want to create like a love song, or like a ballad, or like, this sweet message, or this sweet sound that invites people to, connect with their feelings, and connect with, being there for each other, and being more, that there should be more solidarity, more, community. I think that it could be a mix of that. I see, the more like reactive members, or more like energetic members, being like, I want a rough concept, like I want a rock concert, I want a rap concert, I want a strong sound, and I want a heavy choreography. And then there's others that they're like, I don't want to do that anymore. I actually don't want to do the crazy choreographies. Like, I'm not for that anymore. I want something romantic, sweet, and a bit like, let me sit down a bit. I don't see myself like jumping around now. So let me sit down a bit. Let me grab a guitar, and create this sort of mood of, like, calmness, and just a very sweet, nostalgic, maybe a bit nostalgic, yeah, like a ballad. So it's like this. I don't know how they will integrate both of these, but these are their visions. But also the Empress, the keyword says receive. So you guys be ready to receive that this is going to be literally a gift for you. Maybe it's a gift for the fans, a gift for the audience. Because it's like be open to receive because it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be touching. It's done with the purpose. It's done for the people, so it's really nice. It's going to be positive. I think that they really want to keep, with the positivity. Okay. Going to read for Corby, Besson, and Tzuyu, Twice Tzuyu collaboration song. I don't know who this man is, but I heard about the collaboration with Tzuyu. So they wanted to know about the collaboration, how it's going to go. Corby, Besson, and Tzuyu collaboration song. The lovers came out a lot today, and I'm sorry for people that think that the lovers is the love card. For me, it's the duality card. So I'm like, why are these people so dual when they do things? I think that is this man also a Gemini or something like this, because it feels like, yeah, like duality, like I smile to you, but then when I turn around, I'm a different person. So, I mean, there's a lot of force, like there's a lot of fire, a lot of personality. We start for, this collaboration between Corby, Besson, and Tzuyu. We have the lovers, we have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Knight of Swords. And then we have the Queen of Wands. It says determination. So there's like a strong agreement. There's something about like, okay, are they fan of each other or something like this? Because it feels like, okay, it has to be done with us. I want this to be done with us. The Eight of Wands and the Knight of Swords. Why are people against this already? There's something coming, like, because the Eight of Wands, the lovers and the Eight of Wands is giving me like, maybe it was unexpected. People didn't expect this, but it's going to come like fireworks. Like it's going to be very fast. It's going to be very fast. Maybe the song is also very like fast, like rapid in tune, like the sound is fast, and it feels very rushed. Like also the Knight of Swords is like, it's a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy. I see a lot of people running, like trying to do everything at once. Also with the lovers, are they shooting like a sort of envy together? Because there could be a bit of, I don't want to say flirting, but there's something about, the duality, a woman and a man, masculine and feminine. I mean, for them, this is huge. I mean, the Queen of Wands is giving me like, this is strong determination. We are going to do it, and this is going to be amazing. It's just that I think that the audience is going to be very much against this, and they are going to say it. Like, could it be about the length of the song, the style of the song? Like, it's like people thinking that, oh, it's not equal, like you show more of this person than the other, it's not fair for the other part. Oh my, why so conflicted already? Yeah, I think that there's going to be strong opinions about this. In the case of them, they are so happy to do it. With the Queen of Wands, there's a lot of pride. They are so happy to do this together. So happy. It's just that I think that the audience is like, we don't like it. Like why? Like why all of the sudden, this is about to be released? And maybe there's something about how fast it's going to be or how fast it's going to be delivered that people are like, I think that people are a bit, a bit against, how fast maybe these collaborations are happening or how unexpected they are, or there's something about people being like, we don't like this, and it ruins the mood, because for them this is a huge opportunity, for them this is fun, for them this is very creative. So for people to, I don't want to say like the fans, but it seems like there's like any, like as soon as I see it arrive, I already state my opinion that I don't like it. So maybe it's like, the haters online just like being very, very fast and very, reactive about, I don't like this, and it's like, well, if it's not your style, then don't listen to it, but don't ruin it for others. Because with the Six of Pentacles, it's giving me like it's going to be a fair distribution, or it's going to be good, for whoever wants to receive it. Maybe the fans will be happy. So, it doesn't always have to be about you and what you like and what you don't like and your opinion. I think that maybe people are too opinionated online, or they leave this very, not so nice comments, and they ruin the experience. It's like they ruin the possibility for this to impress, because the work is in there, the determination is in there. And maybe for someone like them, this is important, this is fun, this is something different. So I wonder why people are so quick to jump, and be like, I have something to say. No one asked you. If you don't like it, don't consume it. That's it. Because they are happy. Okay, I'm going to continue with Kim Jae-joong. How is he doing these days in his career, his individual life? Kim Jae-joong. Okay, let's start for Kim Jae-joong. We start with the Hangman. We have the Three of Cups. We have the Moon card in the middle. We have the Ten of Cups, and we have the Ten of Pentacles. And then we have from the other deck, we have the Three of Swords that it says heartbreak. So yeah, I definitely do sense like a lot of sadness, like a lot of confusion, like him feeling in the dark about, certain situations that are happening around him. I feel like we start with the Handman and the Three of Cups. So there's something also about him probably this year feeling like, maybe him associating with others, or, being part of a group or a community or a group of people. It seems like it's not been that productive for him. Maybe there's something about, certain collaborations or certain, I don't know if he's doing like, I know he has his YouTube channel that he invites people over. I had been watching that for a very long time since he started. They are very fun. But there's something about his collaboration, maybe with other artists, like when he is like just one of them, he's not fully in control. Um, there's something about him being put in this, uncomfortable situation of like, okay, I guess I cannot say anything. I will just observe, and that's it. Because it seems like things are awkward, or maybe there's something about him having to stop, interacting in certain, activities. Um, I think that the moon, definitely the moon in the middle, is showing me that this year, this year is not over, of course, yet, but it had a lot of potential of him, maybe trying to do something new, or him really wanting to collaborate more, and just help people out. But there's something about him being left in the darkness, or being left confused about, things about maybe the entertainment, that it has changed a lot. It's different when the project is done by himself and he's the one that creates the rules. Um, is different because he has control in there. But then when it comes to him participating on projects that he doesn't have control of, or maybe they don't tell him things and they do it on purpose, um, he's sort of been left in the darkness about maybe certain friendships that he thought that he had, or certain connections in the industry that he thought that he had, and that he was like, oh, I thought that you guys were going to be supportive, or that you were hoping the best for me. There could be a bit of sabotage in these sort of, places, or work places, or business related things, that is like they invite him, but then, they it seems like they are not working for his favor. They somehow are trying to make it difficult, or maybe there's something about him. I think that there's something about him not being able to see, what the industry is about these days. The moon card and also the handman, there's something about him not understanding certain rules that it applies today. So with the moon card, there's this moment of him being really confused, like, okay, what do people want me to be or do? Because I want to participate, but it seems like I don't do anything right. So, what is it? And he's probably a bit disappointed about this. With the free of swords, the heartbreak, there's this sad feeling of like, oh, I think that they don't get me, or there's something about certain deals or certain things that are not doing very well. I don't think that it's about money, because in the near future we have the 10 of cups and we have the 10 of pentacles. So if this is about his company or his group of friends in style, he support, or his company is going to be okay, I guess, because we have both tens. We have the 10 of cups and we have the 10 of pentacles. There's a lot of stability, there's a lot of abundance for him. So I don't see him, being affected economically nor emotionally. I think that he has a great system of support. he does have, maybe, long time friends that they really, embrace who he is, know him, and they are like, yeah, we will be there for you. I will support you. Come hang out with us, come spend time with us, come here to this part of the community. I think that there's something about him. Maybe at the beginning of the year, he decided to collaborate in a project with others, that actually this wasn't a good move for him, because these people, they really didn't want to like exude the best part of him. They why do I feel like, could it be like sort of evil editing? Taking his words out of context, or making him look like the bad guy, or that he said something, or that he did something. I don't know. I think that he's still a bit shocked about this. He's like, wow, I didn't know you guys work like this, or that this is how you guys do things. I think that he definitely made a mistake by, collaborating with these kind of people. Maybe these kind of people have a sort of reputation of being like this, of being problematic like this, and maybe this is how they get popularity or ratings. I don't know, but it is like this. And he probably was left like, like confused, like, oh, really? This is how you guys do it? Like, this is so not cool. And I think that it's going to take him a while, to realize that yeah, you shouldn't go in there. If you want to expand, expand with the people that love you. Go back to your community. Go back to invest your energy. This is Kim Jaejoong. Go back to your, your family, your friends, the people that have known you longer. I think that also his company, I don't know, I think that there's like a scandal with someone mentioned about this, but I think that, I don't know, the company, it seems very stable. I mean, economically, but also with the 10 of Cups, there's a lot of positivity for him. For him, there's something about like, you get on this side, like don't give in into the negativity, of this bad past experience that he had. It's like, you better hang out with us. We will give you like better experiences, or we will treat you better, or you're always welcome here. So yeah, you come with us. You remember who your friends, or your real friends, or your real community is. Don't try to, because there's something about him feeling guilty, with the free of sources, like he's so disappointed, he's so heartbroken about something. But these are things that yeah, it's bad collaborations or bad business move. And he somehow is associated, so it's like it affects him. But he has a great community on his side, and definitely like economically and everything, it seems like he's doing very well. So, he's not going to be sad for long. It's just that there's this, sad feeling in the background. It's like, oh, I'm disappointed. And I'm going to do this last reading for BigBang, because there was someone asking for him. I know that they are going to, appear on Lollapalooza. They are in the lineup. I believe Katsai and also Taemin are going to be in there. I'm so happy for them. But yeah, BigBang is also with them. Is announced. And I'm going to read for Big Bang. Big Bang, the members, or, the energy of Big Bang as a group. Which, again, just like I mentioned about, people adding certain things to the question. I seen this recommendation on TikTok, and I was about to respond, but I was like, okay. Because, when someone asked for this, their question was this: Big Bang, and if there's like a possibility of, the members that left of, being like coming back, I guess, or reuniting, maybe in this event, at this stage of Lollapalooza, and maybe the possibility of having all the members of Big Bang in that event. If the members that left, if they can come back. And I'm like, talking about, yeah, I swear, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to judge, because I'm just a tarot reader, I'm just going to pull the cards. But that part of the question that you added is so out of place. Is so like like what are you saying? Also, the members that left, there's only one member that made the decision to leave, and that's TOP. And I believe that TOP, just like I said when I was going to come back, I don't know, things can change, of course, energies can change, life can change, and I don't hold the truth about this, I don't know them. But I believe that TOP said that he's no longer part of the group. I believe that he said that, and also every time I read for him, he seems very much like, I said something. So I'm like, okay, let's imagine that he can change his mind because he's a person, and he's like, well, for this event, because it's special and there's going to be the fans, maybe I will appear. But the other one, because this person did say, the members that left, if they could, members. So are you saying you want that criminal to appear on the stage? Like I'm like, no. I was like, I better just read for Big Bang, and the members that are, and that's it. Because I swear my blood pressure rise a bit. I was like, I'm no expert on K-pop. I cannot say, like, because I just started following K-pop because of BTS, and I don't know. I know Big Bang, it's huge. It's their legacy and everything. I know, and they can surprise people, actually. Like, they can have like a sort of reunion, but yeah. I swear, I was like, when I say we listen and we don't judge, but I'm like, but yeah, I am. Yes, yes, I know. Yeah, please, yeah. I'm judging. Okay, let's see. BigBang for the Coachella lineup next year, is it right? Let's see how they're going to go. Let's see. Very passionate as well. Very passionate as well. Very passionate. Yeah, a new beginning. Definitely, they with this, that the Lollapalooza is going to somehow help them like energetically close a cycle and start a new chapter of Big Bang. Definitely, because the guys will be so passionate about this, You know, it's all about like they will be like, you know, even I must say that there's no preparation in here. There's no like I don't know what to say. Like they're going to appear unprepared. No, but there's something about their bodies already know what they have to do. So it's more like from the part of a force, a passion. It's like I will go in that stage and I will show you what I got. It feels very much like this, like no, like you know, like, oh, let's think about how we're going to arrange the you know the scenario, and we are going to put these people here and plant these people in here, and all they are like, no, we are going to just stand in there and give you the best time of your life, and we are going to perform, and all the songs are going to be super energetic, and it's going to be super live also, like no BS, no, you know, no. Is going to be important, at least for them as a group. Is going to, in the fans, obviously, it's going to be important. It's going to be impactful. We have the Knight of Wands, we have the Page of Wands, we have the Wall card, and then we have the Fool that it says take a leap, take the leap. So it feels like a whole new chapter for them, a whole like rebirth. It feels like a waking up of their energy, of their passion. I see them very confident. Honestly, I see them, you know, very. Why do I see only two people? I mean, I have the wall card. In the wall card, there's a person, but it could be free. But the ones that I'm looking at them and I'm like, why do I see two people only here? But it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be like the old days. Like, you know, the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands is giving me like, let's go back to the old days, like to when we were rookies. And people can criticize a bit that, you know, like, oh my God, with all the money and influence they have, why didn't they hire this and this? And no, they are bringing you to the old ways when K-pop idols used to perform like this, or Big Bang used to perform like this. It's not going to be fancy, like, you know, with technology and no, I think that this is about live performances and just bringing all the, you know, exciting the crowd also, like get up and dance, just get up and move yourself, you know. I'm here to move you, I'm here to entertain you, so you show me what you got, you know. Maybe also interacting with the audience. It feels very raw, very like a very raw performance, like not staged, or like the choreographies are all perfect, like no, synchronized, no. No, no. Yeah, and this is like the way they probably want to, they want to welcome, could it be that they want to welcome like the new year or something like this? Because with the Walker and the Fool is giving me like the turning of a wheel, like the wheel of the year, not ours but theirs maybe. Or is it about an anniversary or something like this? But it seems like they are welcoming a new era for themselves and maybe for other artists. Hmm. They also have the tower. So I think that also, with the tower, there's a message. There's a very bold and a strong message about, I don't know if people are somehow, like I said, some people maybe are speculating, like how many are they going to be? Like, is it the whole? Is it some? Is it? I think that they're like, we are sort of, with this performance or with this stage, we are sort of reaffirming that, what no longer works or it didn't work for a while is done. Like, the ones that are on the stage is Big Bang. So if you have any illusion or any kind of preconception about how they should be or how many they should be or what they should be, the tower is like, we are here to crush your illusions. We are here to crush your illusions. It's going to be a brand new beginning for them. It's going to be a brand new beginning. They are closing a chapter. So they are going to be very, very upfront about the message or what they want to do. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see for him. Let's see for Top. When I read for him on the Scorpio season, let's see if maybe, there's something appearing. Let's wait. It's very early yet, but I don't know. When is that Lollapalooza happening? 2026. Okay. We still have time. We still have time to see if TOP changes his mind. Or if I don't think that it's about changing his mind. I think that his decision is his only, and he knows, and also, maybe if he is seduced with some kind of deal, I don't know. But yeah, you should. I think that every time I read for TOP, I think that he's very much sensitive to the idea that some people don't listen, and I think that in his case, he hates that. There's a very strong refusal to. I already said what I wanted to say, and I already told you guys. You never listen, so stop. I think that for him, he can change, of course, like he's human, but maybe there's something about his energy being a bit tired of people just insisting, and he's like, I already, like, there's something about him being like, I already said what I wanted to say, like, didn't you hear? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, this is why, the heart wants what it wants. I like I said, I'm trying to not be, judgy of certain comments or recommendations, but sometimes I'm thinking, like, what are you talking about? Like my God, like,
But, you know, I guess people like that exist. Mm. Okay, guys, I'm going to go because I have to cook. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, for all your questions, for the Q&A. Thank you so much for the recommendations. And yes, I'll see you. If everything goes well, I'll see you on Wednesday, okay? Have a lovely day. Bye.